Oscar-winning actor and comedian Monique is calling for a boycott of Netflix for gender and racial discrimination, saying she was offered a fraction of what other comics are being paid by the streaming network for comedy specials. Now, she's here to share her story with us today, so please welcome the fabulous...
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. When will you die?
So the progressives are once again trying to blame their own failings on gender bias or racial bias, and it's getting a little annoying as this particular comedian by the name of Monique, that I have never heard of, is quite frustrated that she was only offered $500,000 for her Netflix special when, say, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle offered $20 million and Amy Schumer was offered $13 million for some reason. So let's jump into it.
Netflix offered you $500,000 for a comedy special.
Yes.
They reportedly gave Amy Schumer $13 million.
Yes.
Is your issue that Netflix offered Amy more than you, or that you feel they're discriminating against women or women of color?
Well, it can't be gender discrimination, as Amy Schumer got $13 million. What a world. And I highly doubt it is racial discrimination either, as Netflix, as you'll go on to say, gave Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle $20 million each for their Netflix special. So it's more due to the fact that she is not a world-known actor or comedian. Like, even Amy Schumer is worldwide. And she gets a lot of hate watch as well, which I really think helps her statistics.
What exactly?
Well, the issue was when I first said, let's boycott Netflix, I said for gender bias and color bias. Because when Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle received their offers, they were $20 million, and they were very public about the offers. When Amy Schumer initially received her offer, it was $11 million. She went back to Netflix and said, I shouldn't get what the legends are getting, but because I'm a woman, I should get more. And Netflix agreed, and they then gave her $2 million more.
Of course you did, Netflix. Because she's a woman, she deserves $2 million more dollars. Because... sexism, I guess. Now, I found some tricks that you can do with your fedora that you're obviously wearing. And I just want to say, on the start of this video, this was plastered all over it, so you could probably tell it was a parody, but he wanted to make 100% sure that no one believed he was actually serious.
You take your fedora, obviously, and you put your thumb like right there on the back, and you
How is it that Monique gets paid $126 less than Amy Schumer would get paid? And Robbie Pro said, well, we go by what we anticipate you'll do.
Right.
So then Sydney said, well, based off of Monique's resume, you see that what she's done. I know, but we don't go off of resumes. He said, well, then may I ask how you came up with Amy Schumer's number? He said, well, she sold out Madison Square Garden twice, and she had a hit movie in 2017.
It almost defies logic how Amy Schumer is so popular. I really think it is a large part. A lot of people just hate watch her continuously, but I don't believe that that conversation went exactly like you were saying it did, as I think it's more to do with the fact that the person, Netflix in this example, need to gauge how many people are going to watch this. And for example, if PewDiePie did a Netflix special, his resume outside of YouTube is nothing, but they could still bank that a certain amount of people would watch it, even if they were just curious about the PewDiePie documentary or whatever. And Monique, I'll help you out. Here's a clip that Netflix put out to YouTube to promote her comedy special, and you'll see the clip and you'll see the reaction. It's just ridiculous. She's incredibly unfunny.
And I got worried. I gained all the weight. I'm like, oh my God, are men gonna still be attracted to me? And that's when I remembered, I always forget this. It's another reason I love men so much. Men each day have a thought that goes through their head where they're like, I don't know why, but I want to put my penis right in your butthole. A couple times a day, someone walks by and, just... They're like, look, it doesn't make sense to me either, but I know for a fact I want to take the most sensitive, intimate part of myself and just like ram it right where you poop. Just like ram it.
Yes, I totally agree with you. And when you look at the resume of Monique, that's asses in the seat.
Okay, well, that's the point. So it's not about the resume, it's about how many people you draw.
The point is, but it is also about the resume. Because what happens is, our finish line keeps changing. And when I say that, Whoopi, as a black woman in Hollywood.
And of course you're going to start race baiting now, aren't you? Because you don't seem to have the right disposition to be a comedian. I don't really find virtue signaling and blaming everything on racism and sexism incredibly funny. Plus, from the story that you told us later, you don't seem to be very good to work with either. And this analogy you're about to spew out is just completely ridiculous. Who is moving the goalposts? Who is telling you this?
See, initially you're told, build up your resume, and that's what'll get the money. Then you build up your resume, and then they'll say, well, you know what, we see the resume, but we'll get them the next time.
All right.
And you never meet your next time. Right. So when it comes to Netflix, and with Amy Schumer and Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, and let me say this, what they got, they were supposed to. I don't have an issue with my sister Amy, nor my brother Dave and Chris. But when the vice president of Netflix says to my husband and our attorney, by the way, Monique is a legend too. Well, if I'm a legend, why wouldn't I get what the legends are getting?
Shut up, Meg.
Well, if they actually did say that, they shouldn't have. You are not a legend to the same degree that Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle or even Amy Schumer, even though that's in a completely different way. As, for good or for bad, most people will know who Amy Schumer is. I don't think they're going to know who you are. I have no clue who you are. You obviously have no clue who I am, but I'm not claiming I'm a freaking legend. And you do multiple times, and you do realize it's really, really self-serving when you keep calling yourself a legend. You need to call other people legend, or you need other people to call you a legend, sorry. Like, do you really think Dave Chappelle just goes around going, I'm a freaking legend? I don't think so.
Do you think they underestimated the power of the black dollar?
Well,
because you say you can fill those seats.
I know they
Are they
underestimate the
underestimating
power of the black dollar, because when Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle received their offers, they were $20 million. The black dollar, we see that in our movies, in the theaters that we're given.
Black
we
Panther,
see that.
right now.
That it's, well, we see that.
Raking it in, yeah.
And it's raking it in. And the question I would say is, that's not something that we don't do.
Yes, and Netflix actually does understand this, as you stated before, they gave $20 million to two prominent black comedians. Black Panther has been very popular, despite from the fact of all the virtue signaling from you progressives. So I think it's more to do with the fact that you are not as popular as these particular individuals. And you are blaming racism and sexism for your own failings. It's just pathetic.
To Netflix, and I have to go back to it, when you tell me that you are a legend, and we do know that Monique is great and Monique is funny, then how do you offer me $12.5 million than you offer Amy Schumer, and $19.5 million that you offer two men that you say are legends?
Right.
Yeah, but you're still getting $500,000. And I understand it's not as much as what you would hope, or maybe what you think of your own talents, but it still means they're willing to put $500,000 to you to produce a special. So maybe you should get out of your own way and just accept that.
That is suspicious.
That is very suspicious.
Let me say something before. We don't have a lot of time. Because this is a more unpleasant question, but I want you to respond to it. Because there are people who think that it's because you have you have a difficult reputation, that you're a bit of a troublemaker, that all started 8 years ago.
Yes.
So what do you say to that?
I say thank you for letting me speak on it.
That's why they didn't want to hire you.
And 8 years ago, I did a movie called Precious.
Well, I think that description is incredibly adequate for you. You're virtue signaling like crazy. You would just blame racism and sexism on basically anything. Plus, once you tell your story, you don't do your job properly, so why would they want to hire you? I think you have an inflated sense of how popular you are and how funny you are. As once again, I don't think virtue signaling really sells.
Then when I start getting calls from Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lionsgate, and they wanted me to come work for free. They
To
wanted
do what?
to go over to Cannes and promote this film internationally. And I said to them, I said, guys, my deal is with Lee Daniels, and I've done my job. And they all agreed. And this is what happens, in my humble opinion, when you don't go up to the hotel room.
And of course you make that sort of reference. Fantastic. You do realize promotion is a part of your duties. I'm not sure how popular Precious was either, but luckily I don't have to explain this, as Whoopi Goldberg is going to jump in and help me out.
See, when I think about those women that
Wait,
said...
I'm going to stop you.
Okay.
I'm going to stop you.
Okay.
Because contractually,
Yes.
when you make a movie, regardless of who you sign the deal with,
Yes.
your job is to go and promote said movie.
Yes.
No, but so when they wanted you to come, and we've had this
Yes, we did.
conversation, and I said if you had called me, I could have schooled you on what was expected.
And when we did have that conversation, and what I said to you, my sweet sister...
Please stop with that whole sister and brother thing. It's really, really annoying. And she's correct. Obviously, you've got to promote the movie. You see actors do it all the time. And wouldn't you want to do it anyway, as you want to be seen as someone that is good to work with, that will go the extra mile, let's say, instead of just being a difficult virtue signaling just twat?
Now, when I make the statement, this is what happens when you don't go to the room. What Tyler Perry showed me, Lee Daniels, Oprah Winfrey, and Lionsgate, when you don't do what we ask you to do, we'll take your livelihood. So for 8 years, my family has suffered and my career has suffered because what I would not allow those entities to do was bully me. And because I didn't allow the bullying to happen, this is now what I sit in.
Okay, we have to go.
Yeah. Shoot. Thanks for coming, Monique.
Yeah.
Thanks
We'll
for
be right
having
back.
me.
So she ignores everything Whoopi says and goes back to the victim narrative and just blames everyone else for her own failings. So to sum this up, Monique, you may be funny. After watching this interview, I definitely don't want to ever go watch your comedy, as I'm not going to support the type of person that you are. And I think it's incredibly arrogant to think that you are in any way the same league as Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock or even Amy Schumer, just in the fact that everyone freaking knows her. So maybe just be glad with what you've got, as they're still offering you $500,000, and maybe if you were a bit more realistic, you could have maybe bumped that up to $1 million. They gave obviously Amy Schumer an extra $2 million just because she's a woman, so they'd obviously maybe give you an extra $500K because you're a black woman. I don't know, but you're expecting what, $13 million, $10 million? It's just so incredibly unrealistic. And also, guys, I've got a couple of conference and after party tickets to MythCon to give away. So if you've got any suggestions or you would like to be entered into it, please Twitter, Facebook, Discord me, as I'm actually going to be trying to go to MythCon this year. I think it's a fantastic way to meet some of you guys, meet some other creators. I've always wanted to go to America, and I've been sort of invited up as a special guest, which was really, really nice in MythCon. So currently saving for a plane ticket. If you can give me any support, I highly appreciate it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to just meeting people, as I've got a lot of American subscribers and just think it's a fantastic opportunity. Plus, I've got a MythCon video coming out, as they really seem to have stepped it up in terms of the lineup, and the backlash has already started. Obviously Christy Winters, obviously Thomas from MythCon last year, he did a whole diatribe that I'm going to go through. It's hilarious, so look forward to that. As always, thank you so much to my Patreons. I really appreciate you guys. I'll be doing a live stream very soon on my second channel, so it's in the description box down below. If you want to go subscribe to that for live streams, it'll be in the next day or so. Anyway, thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you later.